For Hype Plus News, I'm Travis Adonis. When reality television was at its peak in the mid-2000s, we couldn't stop watching. The constant antics between the contestants of shows were too entertaining to watch. Flavor of Love brought an entirely new energy and audience to reality TV. With the same concept as The Bachelor, Flavor of Love featured 20 different women living under one roof, competing for the love of Public Enemy rapper Flavor Flav. Audiences were immediately drawn to this entertaining program, which offered a different look and feel from the reality television shows we had come to know at the time. This series introduced America to celeb reality stars like New York, Hoops, Hottie, Delicious, Buck Wild, and more. One notable who has seemed to completely escape the spotlight since the show ended was Pumkin, known as Brooke Thompson. Pumkin is known for spitting on New York after she was eliminated after making the top 3. The single incident has become one of the most talked about moments in reality television history and surely would have went viral if the show aired during the era of social media. In addition to Flavor of Love, Pumkin was a contestant on Charm School and I Love Money, making the top 5 in both shows. Here's what happened to Pumkin from Flavor of Love. In 2007, Brooke Thompson participated in an interview for the Bakatoons podcast where she revealed that she was born and raised in Bakersville, California. When her mother got together with her stepdad, according to Thompson, he was very strict, which led to an extroverted Thompson in adulthood. In high school, Thompson was a straight-A student and was a cheerleader all 4 years. After graduating high school, Thompson attended California State University and graduated in 2003 with a bachelor's degree in business and concentration in marketing. Right after college, Thompson began coaching cheerleading while working as a substitute teacher and doing some office work. When it came to the transition from working after college to reality television, Thompson says she found an opportunity through the game show Street Smarts. I was at Magic Mountain and they were filming Street Smarts, the game show. I wanted to be on that show, so they started interviewing me to be one of the street people. I got the first 3 questions they asked me right, so they said, "Oh, you're too smart for this. We need dumb people." I was like, "I can pretend I'm dumb." They were like, "No, you'd be great for like an in-studio contestant, like actually playing the game for money." The producers gave Thompson a number and advised her to go to an audition. Thompson didn't think much of it initially, but still decided to audition and got on the show. It turns out the casting call for The Bachelor turned out to be Flavor of Love. Flavor of Love was Pumkin's first big reality series. The previous series she was a part of were one-off episodes, but this was a 10-week commitment. I'm like, here's your big chance. This is so cool. But wow, I have to pretend I like that? After insinuating she never had true feelings for Flavor Flav. Thompson was asked if the other girls in the series really had feelings for Flavor Flav. She said, hell no. Whether they want to further their modeling careers, be reality television whore like myself, everyone had their own motive. Flavor of Love began airing on VH1 in February 2006. At that time, Thompson had returned to substitute teaching in her hometown. The popularity of the show and Thompson's role in it caused the Kern High School's district to remove her from the substitute teaching list. Spokespersons for the district, John T, said at the time, she's a victim of her own celebrity. After the Flavor of Love, I went back to subbing, and then the show started to air. By the 3rd week, the kids were like, "Oh my God, our teacher is Pumpkin." They were calling me Miss Pumpkin. They were like taking pictures with the camera phones. They were surrounding me on the campus. The security had to take me to and from my car on a little golf cart. It was just a major distraction on campus, so they did fire me. According to Bakersfield News, the district had no problem with her job performance or morals. However, it was her status as a TV star that was too much of a distraction for high school students, which is one of the show's primary target audiences. In response to her firing, Thompson said, "I'm going to have to do something about it. I think it's a wrongful termination." There is no word on whether or not Thompson pursued legal retaliation since. Several years later, a former student of hers, Kyle Legg, would share a photo of himself and Thompson. "Never will I ever get over Pumkin from Flavor of Love being my 9th grade substitute math teacher no more than 2 to 3 weeks after her elimination episode aired." In 2016, 10 years after the first season of Flavor of Love ended, VH1 caught up with Thompson to see where she was at the time. Damian Bellino conducted a print interview. Bellino begins the interview by informing Thompson that she's a hard person to track down. According to the 2016 interview, Thompson still lives in her hometown Bakersville, California and works for an accounting firm. He let Thompson know that Pumkin was such a recognizable figure in the mid-2000s pop culture era, and she revealed that she still gets recognized from time to time for being on the reality TV series. Yes, they do, and it's so crazy. It really is, because you would think that it would fade away. It's not as crazy as it was when Flavor of Love was airing, but yeah, people definitely do. I would say at least 5 times a week. In the interview, Thompson admitted that her first reaction when given the nickname Pumpkin wasn't pleasant, simply because she wasn't familiar with how the term is actually a warm sentiment, especially amongst the black community. At first I was like, well, that's weird. I'm just so white. I was like, okay, like a fat orange thing, right? Like, do I look like I have baked bass skin? Like, why is he calling me this? Flav was like, no, it's a term of endearment. It's like a lot of black people in that community, they'll call you my pumpkin. Like, it's just a sweet thing, so I guess it's grown on me. For sure, but at first I was a little insulted. Thompson was asked why she decided to step away from television and revealed that if it was up to her, she would still be in the industry. It wasn't really my choice. I would still be on reality TV if someone still was doing those types of shows. Not to say that I would never do reality television again, because I would totally do it again. In response, she was asked if there was a reason she wasn't on social media compared to some of the other contestants from Flavor of Love and Rock of Love. Yes, it takes so much of your life away. Like, I don't know, I just got so wrapped up in it. When I did have it, I was obsessed with it. I wouldn't do anything else, and if I was doing the shows and I didn't have to work 40 hours a week and I had more time to do it, I would do it. I kind of feel like some of it is just ridiculous. Like how some of the girls act like they're still some big TV star. Yeah, we were big back in the day, you know what I mean? We're not this generation of reality television stars. I'm not gonna come out with a perfume line and do shit like that because that was back then. I guess I'm just centered. That was the past. If it happens again and we can be big again like that. Of course, Thompson's most known for spitting on New York after she was eliminated from the series. There was actually no thought going into it. It was completely emotional. I was pissed. It's the lowest thing you can do to someone, pretty much. I didn't think about it. I wasn't premeditated. It just happened. It wasn't like, okay, I'm in elimination. Okay, I'm gonna do this so we can make a name for ourselves and the show's #1. I was really so pissed off. It just came out, and then afterwards I was like, oh my God, I didn't know it was gonna be like the headlines on newspapers. They called it a spit heard around the world. I never ever anticipated that it would be as big as it actually was. I mean, it's still one of the greatest reality TV moments, and that's just so crazy to me. The dynamic between New York and Pumpkin was by far one of the most interesting in Flavor of Love. Thompson had caught up with Pollard well after the series had wrapped and found out that she's much more grounded than her on-screen persona. I saw her at the reality TV awards show, and she was much more like grounded that you would think she was on TV. I mean, obvious that kiss came out between the two of us. She's definitely a lot nicer in person than you see on TV, and I can't believe I'm saying that. Thompson confessed that when she joined the show, she wasn't aware of who Public Enemy was, and even admitted that she does think Flav is a great person, and she doesn't think the two would have worked out together. No, he's a great person, and he's a nice guy, but like sexually, definitely not. I have dated the hot guys though, and the personality has to be there too. So like I've realized like during the show and throughout life that you can't just judge based on pure physical attraction. You have to like go beyond the surface and see if they have a personality as well. Flav does have a great personality, but that's pretty much it for me. Reflecting on what it was like being in the house and the eventual success of the show, Thompson said, I remember I didn't look at it as a job, and a couple of people in the house were asking, how did you get this job? I was like, what job? To me, it wasn't a job. I really was going on that show as myself. I didn't have an agent, and nobody got me on the show but myself. Love or a hater, agree or disagree, Pumkin was an integral part of the first season of Flavor of Love, and arguably part of the single most memorable moment of the entire series. The Flavor of Love girls had a hand in how reality television is consumed and has evolved. Without them, the genre wouldn't be what it is today. Stay up to date with the latest news in comedy, sports, and music by subscribing here to our YouTube channel. Follow Hype Plus across all social media and look out for our original content. For Hype Plus News, I'm Travis Adonis.